You're only getting what CNN and Jake Tapper want to give you. Welcome back to the show. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get to it. First topic.
With their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators.
Trump is blasting these anti-ICE protesters as paid agitators. Roll the clip.
Disrespectful of law enforcement. The woman and her friend were highly disrespectful of law enforcement. You saw that. They were harassing them, were following for days and for hours. And I think, frankly, they're professional agitators.
But just disrespect.
And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out who's paying for it.
But just disrespect.
With their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff. What that woman and what her friend and what their other friends were doing to law enforcement, not just ICE, law enforcement is outrageous.
Yeah, I think pretty much everybody knows by now that all these protests, like the ICE protest, the No Kings protest, the BLM riots, they're all done by the same people, these paid agitators. And Trump needs to find out whoever's, funding this and just completely put an end to it. And it's basically, it's always all the same people that you see at these things, pretty much boomers and Antifa people, like the radical left-wing extremists and boomers, right? Now, I don't know if the boomers are getting paid to show up. I think they basically know you just have a Facebook group and say, we need boomers to show up to this protest, and they'll show up. But the Antifa trans violent people, they are definitely paid agitators. But yeah, Trump basically needs to find out who's funding this crap and put an end to it immediately. But all right, let's get to the next topic here.
Look, the fraud's real. We've all got to acknowledge it. The fraud is very real.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey is admitting that, yes, there is rampant fraud in Minnesota. Roll the clip.
Let me ask you about the leadership in your state. Dozens of people in Minnesota have been charged and convicted with stealing millions of dollars of taxpayer money for government programs. Do you think Governor Walz did enough to stop the fraud in your state? And do you support his decision not to run for re-election?
Well, look, Governor Walz is the reason that we've got paid family leave in Minnesota. He's the reason we've got free school lunches. Him and I, we've been through thick and thin.
But did he do enough to combat fraud,
over these
Mayor?
Last 5
did he do
years?
enough to combat fraud?
Look, obviously everybody could have done more to prevent fraud, and I think that's a fair point to make. You do more to prevent fraud, and you look what he's doing right now. He's setting up a whole bunch of infrastructure to do that. And by the way, look, the fraud's real. We've all got to acknowledge it. The fraud is very real. And by the way, when somebody commits fraud, and there are many that have done that, you investigate it, you charge, you prosecute, and you put the person in jail. As an individual, you put the person in jail as an individual. You do not hold an entire community, any community, accountable for the actions of individuals.
Yeah, it's just hilarious how they basically aren't even denying it anymore. They pretty much just moved on to the point where they're deflecting blame onto somebody down the line, like, no, it wasn't my fault, it wasn't Tim Walz's fault, it was somewhere down the line, somebody didn't do their job to properly vet the fraud, and that's how it got so out of control, right? So that's just the typical Democrat playbook. If it gets to the point where it's so crazy to keep defending, and we're going to lose all credibility if we keep defending this, we have to just, deflect blame onto somebody down the line. You don't even have to specify who it is. It's just somebody down the line didn't do the job properly to, vet the fraud, and that's why we're seeing massive fraud in Minnesota. That's basically where they're at now, and they can't even deny it anymore. But all right, let's get to the next topic here.
Well, call them out, Jake. Spend as much time calling them out.
Noem completely annihilated CNN's Jake Tapper over anti-ICE rhetoric reporting. Roll the clip.
Doing a disservice to the officer by reaching a conclusion before the investigation takes place.
I haven't heard you say once what a disservice it's done for Mayor Frey to get up and to tell ICE to get the F out of his city, and AOC to stand up before she had any of the facts and call this officer a murderer. For individuals, well, call them out, Jake. Spend as much time calling them out.
Okay.
I have provided you with facts and information to back up every single word that we have said and every single part of this investigation. And if you don't like it, that's fine. but we're going to continue to do the right thing to keep the American people safe.
Yeah, I mean, she completely destroyed Jake Tapper right there. This is exactly why nobody trusts the mainstream media anymore, especially CNN, MSNBC, all the big players in the radical left-wing propaganda, right? So everybody just knows that CNN and Jake Tapper, they're basically just arms of radical left-wing propaganda. You're not getting any real news. You're not getting any real facts. You're just not getting it ever brought to you just straight up. You're only getting what CNN and Jake Tapper want to give you, right? And that's what everybody knows now. And for some reason, they just keep going with that, you know, like just that method of, yeah, no, everybody knows what we're doing. Everybody knows that we're just spewing agenda on them, and they call us out on it all the time, and our anchors like Jake Tapper have to get owned on it all the time on air, like he just got owned by Kristi Noem. But no, we're still going to keep doing it. We're not doing facts. We're just going to spew nothing but radical left-wing propaganda. That's CNN for you, folks. But all right, let's get to the next topic here.
And by A-listers, I do mean people who are on A-lists that has been heavily redacted, but...
Nikki Glaser blasted celebrities in attendance and CBS during her pretty funny monologue at the Golden Globes. Roll the clip.
I cannot believe the amount of star power we have in this room tonight. It's insane. There's so many A-listers. And by A-listers, I do mean people who are on A-lists that has been heavily redacted, but... Yes. And the Golden Globe for Best Editing goes to the Justice Department. Yes, congratulations. And the award for most editing goes to CBS News. Yes, CBS News, America's newest place to see BS News. We needed another.
Yeah, it's just always hilarious when the hosts of these award shows go rogue and just start destroying all the celebrities in attendance. The best one was the Ricky Gervais one, where he pretty much went scorched earth on all of Hollywood. It's just always so great how they have to sit there and wear it, and then of course the camera zooms in on their face and they have their awkward, you know, reaction to them just getting completely owned with probably a Jeffrey Epstein joke like you had here. But yeah, I mean, it's just great. And the whole CBS joke, that was a great joke too, because I mean, CBS has been so destroyed by Trump this past year, and just with lawsuits, and they're basically funding the construction of his ballroom and his library. It's just all these lawsuits that Trump's winning that are just funding a ballroom and his library are just hilarious. But yeah, it's good that people are calling it out. We need a lot more people calling it out, especially at these Hollywood events where these Hollywood elite celebrities think that they can just go and have a great time and everything's going to be great. Yeah, no, they need to be called out at those type of events too. And it's great to see, and good on Nikki Glaser. That was actually a pretty funny monologue. But all right, that's it for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be seeing you.